People often ask me, but how did you actually start working with haute couture houses? And the truth is, it wasn't planned. It wasn't linear at all, and it definitely didn't start in Paris. So today I want to tell you the real story how a failed dream, a tiny habit, and a lot of unexpected moments led me into the world of haute couture. And maybe while you listen, you'll recognize a little piece of your own journey too. For years, honestly, for all my life, opera was everything to me. It wasn't just something I did, it was who I was. I grew up in Latvia and eventually moved to Italy because where else would someone obsessed with opera go? My days were filled with practice rooms, areas, auditions, technique, that kind of discipline only opera singers truly understand. I woke up thinking about music. I fell asleep thinking and worrying about high notes. I genuinely believed my whole future was there. I never imagined anything else. Then there came a moment, really initially slow and then very sudden, where I had to face the truth. The career I had imagined for myself was no longer possible. That realization, it felt like someone turning off the lights inside your chest. I kept asking myself, without opera, who am I? What can I do if not this? And honestly, my first answer was really nothing. But life is really funny because long before I realized, a tiny seed had already been planted. Back when I was still performing, I needed bold, sparkling stage jewelry, something dramatic enough for opera. But I absolutely couldn't afford it as a student. So one day I told myself, maybe I'll try making something on my own. I walked into haberdashery like someone who had landed really on another planet. I got beads, crystals, metallic threads, everything that shined. And I began experimenting with absolutely no technique. At that moment, it was just a practical solution for the stage, nothing else, nothing more. But later, when my opera dream truly began to fall apart, I kept returning to those beats, those tiny experiments, and strangely it felt so peaceful, comforting, like a part of me I didn't know existed was slowly waking up. It was maybe the first whisper that I wasn't lost. Maybe I was just changing my direction. One day online, I saw an embroidery so delicate, so luminous, I thought it wasn't even real. That was my first encounter with tambour embroidery. I had no idea it would change really everything. Tambour embroidery isn't only about prestige, it's about light, texture, rhythm, precision. It's about hands learning to speak in a new way. I knew I had to learn it. But in Italy at the time it was almost impossible. So I studied online with Hand and Lock in London. A huge investment for me then, but the moment where everything really clicked. Maybe this is the path, and maybe it actually works. And then came Paris, my really favorite chapter of my life. If you have ever arrived somewhere and immediately felt like it was exactly where you were meant to be, that was me in Paris. Studying at École Les Arts, part of Chanel's Métier d'Art, was like stepping into another universe. I lived in tiny rooms, saved every euro, ate very simply, but the moment I entered that school, I felt so rich. Living class with metallic threads still on my fingers, carrying that long velvet Lesage frame bag, and seeing someone else carrying the same bag, we just exchange a knowing smile, a small, silent I see you. Strangers, but part of the same world. On free afternoons, I'd walk along the Seine, listening to fragments of French conversations, thinking about stitches, rhythm, food, the way light moves on beads. And Paris didn't just teach me technique, it gave me back a sense of belonging. And before I continue the story, if you are enjoying this little journey we are sharing, you can subscribe to the channel. Here I talk not only about embroidery techniques, but also about the creative process, the behind the scenes of building a life in this craft, the beautiful parts, the messy ones, and everything I wish someone had told me earlier. If that sounds like a world you'd like to be part of, you're absolutely welcome here. When I came back to Italy, I wasn't the singer I used to be, but I wasn't truly an embroiderer yet either. So I started small, a detail for a wedding gown, a collaboration with a young designer, a little commission here and there, and eventually my work reached ateliers creating pieces for major fashion houses. And one day I saw my embroidery on the dress of a very famous person, and it was just like, wow. No applause, just a silence that felt really like music. And inside me, something whispered, "This is your stage now." The more I worked, the more I realized not everyone can go to Paris, not everyone can find teachers, not everyone has access to haute couture trainings. But these techniques, they can transform really the work of many people, like bridal designers, evening wear ateliers, accessory makers, children's couture creators, small ateliers entering the premium market, passionate hobbyists who just love beauty. That's why I created my school, to teach couture techniques in a way that is artistic and practical. And I never stopped studying. I always refine my teaching and my techniques so beginners and professionals can grow with confidence. So, looking back, I didn't lose a dream. I discovered my second one. Life isn't linear. Creativity doesn't stop when something ends. It simply finds another opening. Opera didn't abandon me. It guided me here where I really belong. I hope my story gave you something. Clarity, courage, inspiration, or just a warm spark. And if you'd like to stay close to my world and to be the very first to know when my embroidery courses in English are released, you can join my newsletter. You'll find the link in the description and in the pinned comment below this video. Thank you for being here with me. Really.